The Atlanta Hawks, two teams that gave us an incredible performance on Friday night. By incredible, I mean my man, Ice Trae Young, 49 points, 16 assists. How about Zach LaVine, Otto Porter, Lauri Markkanen, all pouring in 30. 4 overtime game that the Bulls won 168-161, and you see all the stats on your screen there. The Chicago Bulls with a franchise record 168 points, 329 total points in the game, the third most in NBA history. What did we get for an encore? How about Trae Young coming out looking like he was ready to do it again? 3 straight games, over 30 points. Trae pulling up from the Bulls logo. But then look at this issue. Whoa, Chris Dunn smacks him in the back of the head.
Don't pull up on me from 35 feet again, though. Don't do that from 38.
Yeah.
They both get a technical. That's important. It'll come up later.
Don't give me 41 again.
Well, Trae's like, yeah, I am going to go to work. This time, going to work inside, taking the extra dribble to create some space. Then Young, from where we're used to seeing him pull from, outside, GA.
I mean, really, the second half of the season, which is surprising for a rookie, he's playing some of his best basketball, really seeming to find his rhythm and his groove. And I was expecting him to get 30 again tonight, but the officials weren't having it.
No, that's his 18th point, and he gets his second technical foul. What?
Gotta go. Apparently, looks do more than just sear through your skin. I mean, listen, that'll be something I'm sure Lloyd Pierce and the Hawks will be upset about for quite some time, seeing a young point guard get run off the floor like that. But I like the fight out of both these groups. Young cores trying to turn a corner.
Zach LaVine with 12 points, but who would pick up the slack from outside for Atlanta? How about the center? Alex Len, 5 for 8 from three-point range. He's a Turk. 28 points, 9 rebounds for Alex Len. Then Lauri Markkanen, salty.
You got a big man that can go. We got one too.
Antonio Blakely also putting in some work. And the Bulls hanging tough within 5, 3 minutes to go in the fourth. Kevin Huerter, also a Terp out of the University of Maryland. Ooh, tough shot in the clutch. Last chance for the Bulls with 15 seconds to go. Markkanen, the look. No bueno. And the Bulls, they fall to the Hawks, 123-118. Here is Trae Young about his ejection following the victory.
I played with a lot of flair, I played with a lot of energy, emotion, have fun. And for me, I was just, I hit a shot and I just looked in the arena.
Was there anything said at all?
No, I didn't say anything.
It was just a look.
Yeah, it was just a look. I didn't really say anything.
What was your feeling about getting ejected? I mean, were you surprised at the call?
I mean, they made the call. I just got to live with it. There's nothing more I can really say. They made the call. I had to live with it. I looked at someone, and that was about it.
Well, Reggie Miller had something to say. What's happened to my beloved NBA game? So soft and sensitive. No way Trae Young should have been given a technical foul. I would have been broke and out of the league in 2 years, GA. You know this firsthand. Reggie Miller's not lying. He's done way worse in his career than this. For Trae Young to be ejected?
Look, we've seen way worse tonight. I mean, in all fairness, that was really kind of inexcusable. And that's, look, the league will have a conversation, and I just hope they're not trying to justify, because there is no justification for that. You're going to play with emotion. Look, we see Draymond doing it all the time. We see a lot of our guys. So let's not start penalizing guys. What are you supposed to play with your eyes closed? And the thing about it, Chris Dunn wasn't even really paying attention. He wasn't even looking.
Back was to
so I'm not sure what the thought process is there from the officials.
Yeah, it's a tough way for Trae Young to have to exit this game, GA, because he's been playing so well. And when you watch these two teams, you see him Friday night, you see him again today, it makes you wonder in terms of the future, which one of these teams has a better young nucleus right now? And I really like both. I think Markkanen and Zach LaVine are keepers in Chicago for sure, with some other young talent. Wendell Carter not out there tonight, Wendell Carter Jr. But Atlanta's young guys, you got to feel really good about where they are right now with Trae Young, and then John Collins, when he's healthy, playing the way he has.
Certainly, the future is bright for the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young, a star in the making. And LeBron James, we know the expectations on his shoulders coming into his career. He's lived up to it and then some. We discuss next as he approaches another milestone Michael Jordan has. Jordan on the all-time scoring list and 40 to pass his airness. LeBron averaging a triple-double since coming back from his groin injury 11 games ago. GA, the numbers can't be denied for LeBron James. You played against Michael Jordan, and looking at those two for their careers, LeBron's 16 years in, it's time that we can actually make that comparison now, even though they're very different basketball players.
Yeah, listen, they have had as much of an impact for their era on the game as anybody who's ever played it. And for me, quite frankly, I think you got to put Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the conversation because he's had a pretty dominant run as well. But listen, what Michael accomplished over the course of his career, I mean, you could make the argument he's the best ever. But for me, I just look at it by simply saying they're both on the Mount Rushmore of basketball in terms of what they've done. And in LeBron's case, I said this about him and Tiger Woods. Nobody ever came in with the hype and the expectation that he has come into the game with. And you could argue he's surpassed it. He's exceeded it. The championships, the MVPs, the scoring, the rebounding, the assisting, the impact he's had socially as well. I mean, this guy, when you think about where he came from, this isn't a guy that went to college, that grew up in a great family environment. He has overcome a lot. And when you look at that man right there, many a nightmares I suffered having to go up against his airness.
Sekou, one thing that GA just said there is the level of expectations for LeBron James. In year one, his very first game, he showed that he was as good, if not better, than we thought he would be. And year 16 has shown no signs of decline, has just played at a great level.
In terms of the scope of his career, how he entered the league with the kind of pressure straight from high school, no college, no vetting other than getting out on an NBA court and then excelling the way he has through year 16, I don't know that we've ever seen anything like his career. We've seen great players. I would argue with you that we've seen Kareem, Michael Jordan, and several others who have had comparable careers in terms of accomplishment, impact even. But in terms of managing this kind of career, MJ never came into the league with this kind of expectation. Kobe didn't have this kind of expectation. Really, you're right. Tiger Woods might be the only other athlete in this age who's had this kind of pressure on him to be great. And then for him to not only be great, but to be impactful on and off the court, change the culture in Cleveland twice. It's hard to do what LeBron has done, and you got to give him his credit for it, no matter what happens with the Lakers this season.
Certainly what you said about LeBron and the expectations. Derek Fisher said when he played with Kobe, it wasn't until 2000 that he realized, oh, this could be one of the greatest players of all time. Despite another incredible statistical season from LeBron James, the Lakers falling out of the playoff picture and fading fast after losing to the Phoenix Suns on Saturday night. Lakers a full 4.5 games behind the Spurs in that final playoff spot out west. Yet, it's not over just yet for the Lakers. Here's LeBron James, who certainly understands what they have to do the rest of the season.
And we can't keep looking at the standings. The standings are going to be what they are no matter what. No matter if you win or lose, you can't. I've never been one to kind of look at the standings. I mean, you've known me for a while. So you just got to go out and do your job and try to do it at a high level throughout 48 minutes and then see what happens at the end of that. So you can't focus on the standings because they shift and move so much throughout the course of the season. I'm not here to harp on the negativity or the negative. We had opportunities. We could have played better here. We could have played better there. I mean, that's been throughout the whole season. It's been throughout the whole season. But right now, it's a tough loss. It's a tough loss for us. It was a tough loss for us last night. We knew we had gave so much to that game last night. We had to kind of find our own energy. I actually felt a lot better than I thought I was going to feel once I got on the floor. But as a collective group, we didn't always have it. A few of us had it at times, but it wasn't always a five-man collective, group.
LeBron mentioned the fact they were playing the second night of a back-to-back, but still, they were down to the Suns by 18 at the start of the fourth quarter. Defense was optional for the Lakers, and that's been the case a lot this year.
You're exactly right, and that's the problem. When you're a young team and you're trying to get to the next level, defense cannot be optional. It has to become a priority, and that's not the case with this Laker team, and that's why they struggle. They're 28th in the league in defensive rating. They're 28th in the league in field goal opponent percentage. They're 28th in points allowed since LeBron has come back from that injury. And just look at, Brandon Ingram, who I love, but, I mean, he's out there like getting warmed up, like he's getting ready to play the game. I mean, we're midway through at this point. There's no sense of urgency. There's no understanding of what the offense is trying to do. No rotations, no identity, no passion on that side of the ball. And when they look back on this season, sometimes we get caught up in numbers. We need to focus on the defensive numbers. They're a team that right now they're only playing half the floor. They do not give effort defensively, and that's where you start to question from a coaching standpoint, are we demanding enough? Are we getting enough out of this young talent for us to take another step?
The scariest part is they're watching the same cuts we are. I mean, and they're watching them immediately after games. If they're not understanding what's not being done on a defensive end and can't fix it internally, like if that coaching staff can't go to the court in between games and correct these issues, you're right. It does raise some bigger questions. More than just effort and energy, but about schematics. And are you putting guys in the right positions to be effective? And that's when the reckoning comes. If you don't get into playoffs, that's a long, cold summer in LA to think about it, with maybe the Kings and or the Clippers in there as well. There'll be some heads rolling if you don't get in, and if you have to go in and dissect this team, do that autopsy, and find out what goes and what stays.
A large conversation on whether or not the Lakers will make the playoffs, and they're going to need an incredible performance from LeBron James to make that postseason run. And when we come back, we'll take a look back at some of LeBron's biggest scoring performances as we go at the buzzer.
6/10 of a second. Here it is. Corner, Luka. Goes in. How did he do it? How did he do it? There is Luka magic. What?
I had to go to the corner, but it was for sure one of the best plays I ever made. I usually watch the bad things, always with the coaches. So sometimes it's good to watch some good highlights.
Almost 21 points per game, 7 boards, 5.5 assists. The numbers are truly eye-popping. Here comes Doncic, stepping back for 3. Luka with the step-back 3. Oh, yeah! Oh, yeah!
I know we think he's good, but he's better than that.
All I dreamed about when I was a kid is being in the NBA. I was 13 when I had to move to Spain. It was hard. I had to leave all my friends, family in Slovenia, so it was pretty hard, but it was worth it.
There are about 100 fans who have traveled from Slovenia to support Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic!
It's Luka mania, it's real.
This is number 2 in front court voting behind only LeBron. Yeah.
I knew I could play here, but I know I was going to play that good.
Luka's taken over here in the last couple of minutes.
20 years ago, the Mavericks drafted Dirk Nowitzki. They've been looking for the next Dirk the entire time. It looks like they have found him.
Brought my little guy with me. First time All-Star. You ready? Put on a show? What's the couple step backs? Now I'm gonna dunk. Maybe one.
Before that, I didn't know Dirk, so now I know him as a person. I know he's been really good at basketball, but the most important thing is he's a great person. He's just making fun all the time.
I want us to share the ball a bit and not one guy dribble it 20 times and hoist something up like Luka does with the Mavs.
That's the most important, being a great guy.
I used to do that when I was young.
What, last year?
I'm Fox, look at me, I'm Fox. I'm Fox. Yes, yes.
I love having fun on the court. I always say that when I'm playing the best, I have fun.
He looks like he's enjoying this game. I feel like he enjoys everything. Luka is super happy about it.
When I'm on the court, I just forget about pressure. You know, I just want to have fun and just play good basketball.
He's got courage. He'll take big shots and do what needs to be done to try to win a basketball game.
I enjoy the game. I couldn't live without this game.
Oh my goodness, what a show!
He ain't no ordinary rookie.
Well, it appeared all season, right, that the conversation was Luka Doncic running away with the Rookie of the Year award. Now Trae Young, 49 points, 16 assists against the Chicago Bulls. And we kind of look at his stats and go, hold on, there's not that much separation between the two. Is this more of a conversation now? Trae Young could actually still catch Luka Doncic and win Rookie of the Year. Look at those stats.
Oof.
I mean, when it comes to assists, Trae Young is way ahead of Luka Doncic. When it comes to points, it's a closer gap there.
I don't think he could catch him just because of the simple fact that Luka had an excellent start and he's remained consistent in that process. But what I do admire about Trae Young is that, look, he's been on the collegiate level. He was the player of college basketball, the face of it. And, you know, everyone knew exactly what they was getting when he came into the association. So KYP, know your personnel, everybody was prepared for what he had to offer. With Luka, he kind of just caught everyone by surprise, this change of gears, his size. I remember seeing him over in China, and I was just like, wow, he's 6'7", 6'8". With a change of gears, reminds me a lot of Andre Miller, where he got a fast, quick basketball speed and pace to him. But Trae Young, look, made the adjustments. Now he's putting the ball on the floor, able to knock down the shot, showing his versatility, going downhill. Just impressive to watch.
Well, for me, Chris, I'm happy for Trae after meeting at the draft. And I used to use the phrase, stay in your lane. Well, he's pretty much stayed in his lane the whole season and hadn't got caught up in who should get Rookie of the Year. So now, since the All-Star break, he's found his groove again, at his sides, finding his lanes. And Tough Juice, I'm still very impressed for his size, the way he's able to find those passing angles once he turns the corner, because earlier in the season, he wasn't doing as much as we see now. Will he make the conversation better? I think he will. I think Luka will still probably win the award, but at least he will make the conversation because he stayed in his lane and played his game all season long.
Yeah, that's exactly what he made the adjustment, and it's a testament to him and his character and wanting to be better, a better version of himself. That's his true competition. It's not Luka or that trade or whatever that process is. It's him going back to the lab, watching film, being like, okay, these are the adjustments that I have to make. When I'm coming off the pick and roll, I got to be tighter. I have to keep my dribble. I have to take care of the basketball. People know me as a scorer. I have to be able to facilitate and pass the ball to some of my teammates and make them a better version of themselves. And you see him doing all those things.
You mentioned the draft day trade between the Hawks and the Mavericks. Luka Doncic, Trae Young, going to forever be linked. Whatever they do in their careers, that's going to be. Is that fair to Trae Young? Because we see how sensational Luka Doncic has been. Is that fair to Trae Young?
Yes, because it happened. And when you go back and look at every draft from any sport, you're always connected because it happened. Fair or unfair, to our point, I think that's why we appreciate what Trae Young's done, because he's not getting caught up in it. We are doing it because it's our job to. When I see Trae go to a Hawks game, he's out there hooping. Saw him All-Star Weekend in the Skills Challenge. He's having a great time. When people ask him about it, he goes, hey, man, I'm just out there playing my game, doing what I do. That's why I love what Trae Young's doing.
Yeah, it's a cause and effect to all those things. And you look at possibly the greatest player ever to play the game of basketball got drafted number 3.
And they always compare him and Sam Bowie. Come on, it's still to this day.
Hey, say less. What they say less.
And they leave Hakeem Olajuwon out of that conversation because of what he was able to accomplish in his career.
Boom. There you go.
There goes the dynamite. You can catch Luka Doncic right here on NBA TV. It's a doubleheader on game night. Mavericks Nets at 7:30 and the Clippers and the Lakers at 10:30. Coverage starts at 7 with the Auto Trader pregame show.